Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I am Santino here with Chad. What's going on, man?
I'm Batman. Hey, what's up?
And we're finally tackling the critically acclaimed Nolan trilogy, from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight Rises.
Hey, two
So,
out of three good ones ain't bad.
2 out of 3 ones anybody there. Yeah. Let's just. I don't want to even think about that until like later. So, let's just start. Batman Begins, Chad. What do you think of Batman Begins?
It's one of the best superhero origins ever.
I agree. I mean, like, there's not much to say about this movie because Batman Begins. Chad and I are of the same mind. It's a really great movie. It's
Yeah,
probably the top five
it's,
superhero origins. Superhero
it,
origins.
it really is. I mean, it's it just how to put it. It's like the Batman origin movie. I'm like about to quote the stupid series itself. It's the Batman origin story we always wanted but didn't think we were gonna get. Uh,
Exactly.
Screwed that one up. Whatever. It's the one we didn't know we needed, but we deserved, or some shit.
Oh right, yeah. The one, the one we deserve, but not the one we needed. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Batman Begins is like really like wow. It's like something else because like it came out in a time where like superhero movies, they had to be comic booky, they had to be cheesy. It's like Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 came out like recently, and those were like
And X-Men.
and X-Men, and those were like such a comic book flair. They had villains with costumes, and they had you know cheesy one-liners, and like everyone needs to be like, okay, it has to be like this. But Batman Begins took it a step further, where it's like, no, superheroes can be realistic. They can exist in the real world, and if they did, here's our realistic take on it. And that's what Nolan did. That's what I appreciate Nolan doing. Is like in this movie, uh, they took it to the next level where Batman Begins is this grounded superhero story. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. I mean, it didn't have like if you look back at like we were talking like the Burton and the Schumacher movies where it's like, over the top villains where, there's like clowns dancing in the streets and the Prince song playing as Joker spraying money everywhere and Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. They were just like, all right, let's take this in a more grounded approach of a more realistic look while still being a superhero movie. And they pulled it off. I mean, I'll say this more later, but it's like this to me. This looked like a very realistic Gotham as well, far more
In
than
this
Dark
first
Knight.
one. In this first one.
In this one only. This is the only one where it like actually looked like a city called Gotham.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. That's what I like about Batman Begins. It's like the cheesy like comic book stuff from the comic books. They grounded it here and made it more realistic. For example, Scarecrow's fear toxin. It's now like this hallucinogen found in a flower. You know what I mean? Which is possible because there are flowers that exist like that in the real world. Um, the League of Assassins being like this thing where it's like, oh, Ra's al Ghul's not immortal, but in theory he is because his legacy is passed down to a successor. So he's like, there's no Lazarus pit like in the comic books, but there is an accurate representation of Ra's al Ghul in this movie. Talia al Ghul, we'll get to that, but
Yikes.
um, and
Oh, how do you pronounce it? So I know it's Raish, but why did they go with Raz?
I have no idea. Also, it's supposed to be Ra's.
Because I had a friend who used to get so pissed off. He's like, and he's one of those like purists. Like if you do the slightest thing, like he writes off the entire Raimi Spider-Man trilogy because of the web coming out of Peter's wrist instead of being web shooters.
Yeah,
He's like literally one of those people. And for this, he wrote off this entire movie because he's pronounced Ra's al Ghul instead of Raish. He's like, they got it wrong. I'm like, okay, wow, they mispronounced the name. He's like, no, the movie sucks.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm like, are you actually serious? He's like, yes. He also says Dark Knight sucks because Joker's skin is supposed to be bleached, not painted. And he says Rises sucks just because Bane isn't supposed to sound like that.
Well, Rises does suck, but for not
Rises sucks for completely different reasons. But no, he's one of those purists where he's like, he'll pick the most meaningless, stupid thing and he'll just hate the film because of it. And I'm like, dude, do you get any joy out of life?
Yeah,
What makes you happy?
Jad, really, honestly.
Well, he hates the first Avengers because he said he hates that movie because he said it wasn't supposed to be a Hawkeye and Black Widow. Ant-Man and Wasp were supposed to be there. I'm like, well, they didn't. And he's like, I know, that's why it sucks.
Wow. Imagine being the first Avengers just because of that. Like the first Avengers, honestly, like MCU isn't perfect, but the first Avengers is like unhateable.
Right. It's fun. It's
the first Avengers. Nah, but okay,
back to Batman.
Like this, okay, back to Batman. Like this, like Batman Begins is like it's a grounded take. Like, and okay, so let's talk about the man himself. You know, Bruce Wayne. What do you think of Christian Bale's outing as Bruce Wayne?
So I'm not gonna lie, I am not the biggest. I'm not the biggest fan of Bale himself as Bruce Wayne. I like him as Batman. I'm just not a fan of his take on Bruce Wayne.
I like it in the sense like I like it here, where it's in the sense that you know,
I liked him here far more than I liked him as Bruce in the next two movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think he cries way too much in the next movie when he's Bruce.
And also, there's gonna be a character that I don't like at all of these movies. I think you know who, and I'll just say it later. But yeah, Bruce Wayne in these movies, I like it. I like it. I like him well enough. But like, I think honestly, Keaton and Affleck did a way better job of portraying Bruce Wayne than. I'll give it this. Bale did it better than Clooney and Kilmer, but that's not exactly a high bar to clear. No, but yeah, in my opinion, Keaton and Affleck did it better. And in terms of Batman, I did like his portrayal of Batman in this one. In Batman, in the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises, not so much. I mean, like here,
he got, in my opinion, he progressively got less good as the movies went on. There's something about his first outing in this one as Batman that I like. I really enjoyed watching him try to build the bat suit. Like, whoever would have thought we needed to see that? But I loved how it was like he was like figuring stuff out with Lucius, ordering the masks, testing them, what ones were the strongest. And that first outing when he took out
those guys at the shipping yard, yeah, that was
when he took out Falcone and his men at the docks. That scene is awesome. The only thing, and okay, I know this is nitpicking, but I still have to point it out. How he created the bat symbol, I'm pretty sure that would have killed Falcone.
Yeah, I agree.
That man would have burned to death on that giant spotlight.
Yeah, and also here's the thing. This is the first and only, like this is one of the only times where I don't get why directors do not do this. One of the only times where Batman uses stealth. He's a stealth person. He uses fear. I just played the Arkham game again recently, Arkham City, and again, an accurate version of Batman using stealth because you're on the ledge, you're hitting things with a batarang, you're making things explode, you're fucking with the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that stealth in this was awesome. Like on the docks when he was stopping the guys putting the fear toxin into the sewers.
Yeah. And I still love that.
Oh my God. Dude, that scene when he sprayed the fear toxin into Scarecrow's face and Scarecrow saw him as like a demon, that is like one of my favorite scenes out of all three of these movies.
No, and also that scene where like that one thug's like, "Where are you?" Here. And then he grabs him and is like, that's awesome, man. So let's talk about the other characters. Michael Caine's Alfred. Do you like his Alfred? Here I do.
Again, here, yes. Later. The biggest problem I have with him, and I'm sure I'm going to get crucified for this, why does he always have a speech prepared? Like, come on, like it
That's not
doesn't
how
sound
people
natural
react.
when he's always got no Master Wayne, and he like launches into this big speech or story. It's like, oh, that's why I'm sorry, Jeremy Irons is far better because he didn't
Oh
tolerate.
no, Jeremy Irons was like the perfect.
He like didn't tolerate Bruce's. Like he was barely putting up with his shit in those movies. Like my favorite was when he was like, he's like cleaning up after a night where Bruce was drinking, and he's like, "You're gonna clear out the wine cellar for the next generation of Waynes. Not that there'll be one
in your dreams.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, okay, going back to topic. Yeah, Michael Caine's good in this one as like a father figure. And honestly, I'll be real. He's fine in the
The
dark.
fact that he saved him when he was gonna die, I loved that scene.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like in the first two, he's good. In the Dark Knight Rises, he's well. In fairness, also there's not much. There's not much in it of him there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
nothing really special from Michael Caine. He was good. Like, okay, I get it. It's all in perspective. He was better than that first iteration of Alfred. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not as good as Irons. But you know who was super good in this movie that I really love? Gordon. Gary Oldman's Gordon is really, I think, my favorite one so far.
That's Gordon.
Yeah, Gary Oldman as Gordon. I loved him. What do you think about him?
Yeah, Gordon's good. I think what's his face in the Batman is gonna give him a run for his money though.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright maybe, but like so far I think Gordon in this one was good.
That's because the original Gordon really didn't do any. He really wasn't a character. He was just like a character in name only. And then, yeah, I mean, live action. The Gordon in the animated series was good, but we're talking just live action. I mean, no, it's Gary Oldman. He always gives a good performance.
Yeah.
Whether he's Dracula or Gordon or what's his Sirius Black, he always gives a good performance.
And also Lucius Fox. Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox is awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, another character who just barely tolerated Batman's shit.
Yeah, like Mr. Wayne, don't think of me as an idiot. I know what the fuck you're doing.
He's like spelunking, really.
Yeah, really. But he's sarcastic too. He's like, spelunking. Like, are you expecting to run into some heavy gunfire in these caves? Like, yep. So like Mr. Wayne, the way I see it, all of this stuff is yours anyway. But don't treat me like I'm a dumbass, okay? I know what the fuck you're doing. It's like, yep, nice one, Lucius. I love that. Lucius Fox and like Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox was awesome in these movies. And I'll give it this. In all three, even in Rises, he's awesome there.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman always carries his role in these three movies. He did a great job.
All right, so now let's talk the villains. Crane and Rash. Sorry, Raish or Roz or whatever the fuck. Okay, Liam Neeson.
I know it's Raish, but as weird as it sounds, I think Roz sounds cooler almost. I don't know.
Yeah.
So at least, I mean, it's just because anytime I think of Ra's al Ghul, I always think of the way Scarecrow says it when Batman's like demanding to know. He's like, who are you working for? Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. All right.
No, I like both of them. Obviously, Liam Neeson is always a badass. But I thought it was cool how he like did his training in the beginning of the film.
Well, that was awesome. The training scene with the ice. Where like yeah, it was awesome. Man.
But what I really like is obviously when they're putting him through like the final test in the League of Assassins.
The fear.
So we'll go over. I don't think we've tackled this yet. We'll talk about the difference between this whole Batman's not a killer bullshit. I guess we can tackle it now if you want.
Let's tackle it in Snyder's version of Batman, because I feel like that's
we got a big scene that like sets this whole trilogy apart from the rest.
Yeah, where Batman like fucking.
So he's told, cut this man's head off for committing a crime, and Bruce says no. He's like, I'm not an executioner. So it's like that's what he's talking about. Batman's not the Punisher. He's not going to put a bullet in your head for being a bad guy, but he still kills people. He burned down a house. You can't tell me the entire league got out. He killed people in that house burning down.
Oh, for sure.
He killed the Ra's al Ghul decoy.
He really did. He did.
He caused it.
Yeah.
Inadvertently, but he still did it. It was his fault.
Exactly. And I don't understand why people say that, oh, Batman should not kill, because he kills in this movie. I think
he shouldn't kill in the way that the Punisher does, where he just puts a gun to your head and blows your head off. He shouldn't kill like that, but it's like...
But don't forget, he did that in BVS and in the nightmare scene, but like, I will explain.
It was different. They were pointing machine guns at him. He was surrounded. He didn't have a choice.
Exactly. No, but...
And he was in war. He was in a war at that point. He wasn't like on the streets of Gotham where he can like tie up somebody who just robbed a liquor store.
Exactly. No, and I have a good explanation as to why Bruce Wayne does what he does in BVS, even though people don't like it. But again, I'll say that for I'll say that for our review of Snyder and our review of Snyder's,
But with this version, it's like the point they were trying to get across was he's not a murderer.
Right, exactly.
That's the difference. Not a murderer, not a killer. Because he still kills people.
Dude, he definitely killed people. He killed so much people in this movie. All the people in that temple burned to death. Except for...
Guarantee there's multiple that didn't.
Huh?
Some probably made it out. Guarantee there's ones who didn't.
Yeah, dude, for real. People died in that movie. They straight up burned to death.
Batman has killed people in the past too.
Yeah, in I think Batman Returns, there's a part there where
shoves a bomb in a man's hands and pushes him into a building and shuts the door in his face. And then it explodes.
That kills him, dude. No, when you have a grenade in your hand and it goes off.
He threw a man down the bell tower. He punched Joker off the building with the intent of killing him.
Yeah, dude. Batman has killed
people. Every Batman has killed.
Except the 66 one.
But off the killing, except the 66 one. And the cartoon one.
Yeah. Okay, so where was I?
Ra's al Ghul's awesome. Scarecrow's awesome.
And I like the plan. Poison the water supply, vaporize it, so that people will be torn apart through fear. Like,
let it destroy themselves.
Genius plan. But like, and Dylan, it's a shame he's not here because Dylan's a diehard Batman fan. But Dylan pointed out, like, dude, the human body is like made of like 90% water. If that thing vaporizes that, then shouldn't they vaporize?
Exploded.
Yeah, so like that's a way worse plan. That's a way scarier plan.
I never thought of it that. Holy crap, that's dark. Oh damn, dude, that's like the rated R version of Batman Begins.
Exactly, Dylan said like, dude, if the microwave emitter can emit microwaves at such high frequency, then the human bodies would explode. Like that's a way darker plan than the fear toxin version. But I guess having people explode like is a rated R version of Batman, and they wanted to get the bucks, and they were playing it safe. So we're gonna get this watered down version of this plan.
Right. So what did you think of Rachel?
Yeah. Okay. Here, I don't like her.
Okay, you don't like this Rachel, or you don't like the Dark Knight Rachel?
I don't like her neither.
I'm sorry, they're completely different characters.
She's okay. I
like her here. I like her in Dark Knight.
I barely tolerated her in this movie. I didn't like her at all in The Dark Knight.
I liked her here because I understood what she was doing and where she was coming from. She had the very Lois Lane feel to her.
Yeah.
In Dark Knight, she's just useless.
In Dark Knight, she's awful. I don't like her, and I know the exact point where I don't like her, and I'll tell you about it later when we talk about it. But Rachel here in Batman Begins is just okay. Nothing really special about it.
I like her because what I like about her character in this is like she's one of the few people who realizes how corrupt Gotham really is.
Yeah.
And she's trying to do the right thing, but she's like, we have to keep our heads down or we're going to get killed. She's like, we've got to do this right if we're going to do it. So it's like, I like her approach to trying to fix Gotham. And I do like that scene where Bruce admitted to her when they were younger that he was going to kill Joe Chill. And she like slapped him and she was like, you're no better than him if you had done that.
Oh, no, he said something like, your father would be ashamed of you. Like
yeah. But it's like, that's what I liked about her. Because it's like, she's another one. She's like, I don't care that you're like this rich brat of a kid. What you still were planning on doing was wrong.
Exactly.
So I wish Rachel had lived. At least this version of Rachel and not Maggie Gyllenhaal.
She's not a bad actress, but I don't like what she did. Okay, I'm getting ahead of her.
Rachel was completely different in Dark Knight than she was in this. She wasn't even the same character. She was a bitch in the next movie.
Yeah.
But no, let's talk the suit. I personally love this suit.
I love the suit. It's very fear-inducing. Like, if I see that coming at me, I'm gonna shit myself.
I'm more afraid of this suit than I am of Dark Knight and Rises because that just looks like a man in armor.
Yeah, exactly.
This actually looks like more of like when I think Batman, like how a real Batman. Well, okay, not real because if the Batman suit was real, he probably would go with like the Dark Knight costume.
Yeah,
where it's like more armor as opposed to. But I mean, I think this is cool. And one of my favorite scenes when he's getting Rachel out of Arkham, and he like uses that like radar and he calls all the bats. That is one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, and he drops down the radar and the bats like circle around it.
That was I loved how good. I just loved how cool and genius that was to get out and escape.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
The end when he took out Roz. See, again, I've seen some people literally say, "Oh, he let Roz die." No, he didn't.
No, because Roz could have escaped. Roz didn't.
What?
Roz could have escaped, but he didn't.
Exactly. He could have jumped. He chose to close his eyes. He's supposed to be this master badass assassin, and yet he just doesn't. But I love that fight scene between them at the very end, and Gordon blowing apart the bridge.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, Batman. Overall, I love Batman Begins. I think it's
great.
Great.
Nothing wrong with it. Like we're talking about it, and as we talk about it, like nothing wrong with Batman Begins. It's a great origin story. It redefined Batman. It brought Batman back from the dead of like, hey Batman, chill.
Oh no. It did.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. And I'll give it this, okay? This set the frame for the grounded superhero story. A lot of superhero movies right now follow what Batman Begins did, or at least try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Try is the key word.
Try is the key word there.
So what do you got? So what's next? And what came next?
What came next is a superhero film that till this day is said to be the #1 most iconic superhero film of all time. It's the greatest. It's untouchable. It's The Dark Knight. And Chad, do you think it's the greatest and it is untouchable?
No.
I don't think so either. And I know you're more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, but I don't think The Dark Knight is that acclaimed.
No. Okay. Dark Knight. Okay, Dark Knight is a good movie. I am not going to debate that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not this amazing, perfect masterpiece that some people make it out to be. I'm sorry. It is a lot of rose-tinted glasses because a lot of people seem to remember when it came out, it was all about Heath Ledger's performance because Heath Ledger had passed away. And Heath Ledger gave an amazing performance as Joker.
Yes.
Again, there's no denying that. He did.
Heath Ledger as a Joker is one of the most iconic performances to this day. I will not dispute that. But everything else
is not perfect because of one character.
Yeah.
Everything with Joker was awesome. Everything to me, okay, here's I look at this movie in almost 3 sections. Everything with Joker is awesome. Everything regarding Two-Face is awesome. Everything regarding Bruce Wayne, I think, is shit.
It's terrible. Yeah, I don't.
Everything with him and Rachel was so god awful, and oh my god, it's like, okay, isn't Batman supposed to be like one of the smartest people alive? How is he so stupid that he can't take a hint from Rachel that she's not going to be with him?
And it's not just that. I mean, like, okay, I will really. Okay. So let's. Okay. You know what? Let's go through those 3 sections. Let's start with the positives.
I mean, is that how you see it too? Do you
Actually, yeah. Yeah, now that I look at it, yeah. There's 3 aspects of it. There's Batman and his story with Gordon. There's Dent, and there's Joker. Let's start with like that. Let's go with Joker first. Right out of the gate, Heath Ledger as the Joker is iconic. There's no disputing that. He's
that
probably the best.
The bank heist is amazing.
At the beginning, yes. At the beginning with the bank heist, and these guys start picking off each other. And at the very end, he sticks the grenade in the mouth and he's like, I believe whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger. It's like, oh shit, it's the Joker. Every scene with the Joker.
I saw this in IMAX opening night. So like there had been no spoilers yet. Damn, I was just blown away by how awesome that intro was.
Exactly. And stuff like, let's go through all the highlights. When Joker has the knife to that goon's head and he's like, my father was a drinker and a fiend. And one night he goes off crazier than usual. Why so serious? I was like, dude, that's awesome. That is a standout Joker scene. What else? That scene with Rachel where he does the same thing, where he just like bullshit. It's a different origin story. Like, my wife, she was crazy. She stuck a blade in her mouth, so I did the same, because I loved her. And you know what? She couldn't stand the sight of me. It's like, oh, dude, it's all bullshit. I love that. I love that he's like making up different stories. That's every time he goes off on why he got these scars. Like, it's awesome.
My favorite still is the one at the very end, though. When he's like talking to Batman, want to know how I got these scars? No, but I know how you got these. And he like fires the like things on his his cleaves like right at his face and tosses them over the building.
Yeah, and I love these Joker moments, like where he basically like shows. I love how he says like in their last moments, people show you who they really are. And when Batman tosses the Joker off the building, he thinks he's about to die. The Joker just goes laughing and laughing, just proving that this guy is insane. He's crazy.
And he was laughing on his way down because he's like, yes, I broke Batman. I got him to kill me. Because you can see it. As soon as Batman catches him, he's like pissed. He's like, are you kidding me? I thought I got you.
And I love the last scene of Joker, like the very last scene, like Heath Ledger's last scene in this movie is like, where he just reveals his ace. He's like, until they get a look at the real Harvey Dent and all the terrible things he's done. And then Batman's like, what did you do? It's like, well, madness, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. It's like, oh, dude, that was so awesome. And of course,
and it's all happening over the scenes of the two fairies debating if they're gonna blow the other one up.
Yeah, dude. And
that scene was amazing. All of that, everything with that was awesome.
And of course, let's not forget, Chad, the most iconic scene in this entire movie. The interrogation scene. Oh, dude.
Did you ever see Tommy Wiseau's version of it?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
No, the interrogation scene is amazing. The back and forth between the two of them was great. Oh, I swear, the writers of this film, which was
David S. Goyer,
the Nolan brothers, they knew how to write Joker for this film. They nailed Joker.
They nailed Joker. I love what he says because honestly, what Joker is saying is kind of true. He's like saying, when the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other. It's like, yeah. And that is shown in Dark Knight Rises when Bane takes over, but we'll get to that later. He's like saying, when the chips are down, these civilized people they'll eat each other. They'll need you right now. When they don't, they'll cast you out like a leper. It's like, to them, you're just a freak like me. And then like when Joker's like saying, and Joker's like a fucking genius. Like he's insane, but he's fucking smart. He says, for a while there, I thought you really were Dent. The way you threw yourself after, and you can see Batman like rage, like, where are they? And then like in Batman's rage, Joker says like the wrong address. He never even thought of like that. When he gets there, it's Dent. Like, dude.
And he like stands there like, fuck. Like, well, guess I have to save him.
Yeah, like, no, not me. Why did you come for me? Everything with Joker in this movie is awesome.
That hospital scene when he's talking to Dent and he's like,
dude,
blows the hospital up. Like, dude, he puts a loaded gun in Harvey Dent's hand and basically says, kill me if you want.
Yeah, he
knew Harvey wouldn't do it.
Yeah, this was the fall of Harvey Dent. He's like, introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. The thing about chaos? It's fair. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's so good. That is so good.
That scene where he was like standing in the middle of the street, daring Batman to gun him down, and he knew he wouldn't.
Yeah, and hit me. And then I was like, I think he really wants to, but he doesn't. And even
everything with Joker is like perfect. Everything.
I have no complaints.
Absolute shame what happened with Heath Ledger. I mean,
but dude, this guy deserved the Oscar for that year. Honestly, this was when the Oscars were
absolutely.
This was when the Oscars weren't like woke bullshit yet. So these awards actually made sense. And honestly, great competition for that year. Heath Ledger's Joker versus Robert Downey Jr.'s Tropic Thunder role. Honestly, both could have won. I would have been fine.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's a tie in my book.
Yeah, that's a tie in that one. Exactly. I'm a dude playing another dude. Like, dude, I would not have minded if Robert Downey Jr. won for that. And everyone's saying like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. should win an Oscar for Tony Stark. Like, he's awesome as Tony Stark.
He deserves it for Kirk Lazarus.
He deserves it for Kirk Lazarus. We gotta talk Tropic Thunder at some point, Chad.
We have to, because that's one of the best comedies ever made.
No, it's not one of the best. To me, it is the best comic book comedy. It is the best comedy ever of all time, in my opinion.
I will never fault anyone for saying that either, because Tropic Thunder is amazing from beginning to end.
Yeah, man, stiff competition for that year. Heath Ledger versus Robert Downey Jr. in his role as, and I think, that same year, Benjamin Button came out and Brad Pitt was also nominated. So yeah, stiff competition.
How often do we see movies like that? I mean, do we see characters like that anymore, where an actor just completely loses themselves in a role and they're almost unrecognizable?
I mean, the last time I saw that was Phoenix for Joker.
Yeah. And then before that?
Before that, in super movies, I'll give it this. There are people who really, like, I am this role. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, I'll give it that. Chris Evans as Captain America, yes. Hugh Jackman as the Joker, yes. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Hugh Jackman as the Joker. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, yes. Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, yes. And Henry Cavill as Superman, yes.
What about Tom Cruise as Les Grossman?
Yes.
Best role in that whole movie.
Okay, so we're why the fuck are we talking about Tropic Thunder? We're going back.
Okay, so Joker. Everything with Joker was awesome.
10 out of 10.
Basically, just went over every scene with him.
Yeah, everything with Joker, 10 out of 10. Two-Face. Everything with Two-Face, 10 out of 10. And not just Two-Face. Harvey Dent, Aaron Eckhart, when he's playing Harvey Dent, awesome. That table scene.
Amazing, tragic story.
Where he's talking with Bruce Wayne, it's like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I was like, that's
And it's like, for
that's
people like
absolutely
us
true.
who knew the comics, we knew what was coming. But again, I almost wish sometimes there was a way to like go into a movie and like erase your memory of certain things. Because imagine the people who never knew Harvey Dent like became evil, who never knew that he became Two-Face.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Like, imagine being like watching this character and being like, yes, like Batman has an ally going forward, and then watching everything that happens to him, fight literally tooth and nail to save this city, just to get abducted. His fiance, well, the woman who was going to be his fiance, gets killed. He gets half his face burned off, and everything is just fucked. And mentally, he's finished to the point where he's holding a gun to a child's head. I mean, this man's life went to shit really quickly.
It really is a tragic. It really is a tragic story. It really is one of those stories where, like, yeah, dude, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. I really do. It really is like
100%. And Aaron Eckhart, I thought, was the perfect man for it. I thought he did a fantastic job of
Aaron
playing
Eckhart as Two-Face.
the
Was a great
stereotypical
performance.
good
This is
politician.
the same performance. This is the same movie where Heath Ledger is Joker, so he doesn't get a lot of, like, shine. But damn it, he's so good.
It almost feels like it's almost one of those roles I wish he hadn't been in this movie, because, like you just said, Joker completely overshone him, and it's like, damn, barely anybody ever talks about what a good job he did.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like from what happened, I feel like either A, it could have been done better in the sense that Aaron Eckhart could have showed a lot more if he was like a primary villain. But no, it's okay. I mean, like, from what we got, it's fine.
Yeah,
Does that
exactly.
make sense? Like, the thing is, like, in each of the Nolan movies, like, there's always two villains. Like Batman Begins, it was Liam Neeson, and the secondary villain was Scarecrow. Here, it's the Joker and Two-Face. In Rises, it's Bane, and then we think it's Catwoman, but it's Talia. So, yeah. No, but it's also in the sense that Two-Face is awesome, especially that last scene where he's like, man, there's so many quotable lines from this movie where he says, "You thought you could be decent men in an indecent time, but you were wrong. The world is cruel, and the only morality in a cruel world is chance, unbiased, unprejudiced, fair." Like, shit, that's so good. It is so good.
I
It
think
is
one
so
of my
good.
favorites has to be when he's in the car
Maroney.
with Maroney, and he like flips the coin and he's like, congratulations, and he's like flips it again, he's like, oh, what is he? He's like, too
Someone
bad
must,
or something.
you're a lucky man, but he's not. Who?
Who? The
Driver.
driver.
Boom.
The fuck? Okay, the biggest issue I have with that is, how the hell did he not know he could have gotten killed in that car crash?
Yeah.
What if he careened off into oncoming traffic? That would have been
His
the end of
face is
all
half gone, dude. Like, his skull's showing.
No, I get it, but it's just one of those.
Like, honestly,
It's just another one of those things. You know what I mean?
yeah, honestly, I think Two-Face would have died from disease because, like, his face is like half gone.
Oh, he wouldn't have lived much longer. He was basically a man living on borrowed time. You can't live with your face exposed like that. Have so many like viruses and bacteria getting into your system through that giant open wound. You wouldn't last very long.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I
But
love
the
the
way he
Two-Face.
like, and you know what? I remember after the movie finished, where it's like he fell. I always remember. I thought like there was always rumors about people are like he's not actually dead because all he did was fall. He didn't like get impaled or shot or anything. He just fell. So I remember there was like rumors of people like he's not actually dead or he's gonna come back or something. And obviously he didn't. But it's like, yeah, that's just
Oh,
more of a memory that I have of back in the day after the movie came out.
yeah, it makes sense. Ah.
Yeah, everything with him was great. I mean, an amazing tragic tale told within this film, where
No,
it's
dude,
like
Aaron
you
Eckhart.
don't feel bad for Joker, but you feel awful for this guy.
No, dude, like people are gonna have a hard time like topping Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face and
I
Aaron
wonder
Eckhart Harvey Dent.
if we're gonna get Two-Face in Reeves' universe at some point.
I hope so.
I think that'd be great. I'd love to see his take on the character.
No, but Harvey Dent was awesome, man. Harvey Dent was awesome. I love Harvey Dent.
Except for his taste in women.
Okay, so we're gonna go here. All right, so Joker is awesome. Two-Face is awesome. Batman and his story sucks balls, dude.
Yeah, this was not. Oh man, I was
Batman
so bored with him in this one.
Everything about Batman in this story is terrible. That's why I don't get why people say like the Dark Knight is like the untouchable one, because there is a big flaw, and I'll tell you what it is. You know what it is, Chad? It's Rachel. Rachel is horrible in this movie, and you know what? You know where she's horrible? It's when Bruce Wayne says, "Go to my penthouse. You'll stay there. Be safe. It's the safest place right now." And she even says, Bruce's penthouse is now the safest place in the city. And Harvey then says, "Okay, stay there." And then she leaves. She leaves because of your dumb decision. Batman had to take the fall for Dan's crimes because Dan got mad that you died, Rachel. You fucking dumbass. That is the big plot hole which I fucking hate. It's like...
And I remember, because you didn't like that the chick in Army of the Dead did what she did with getting everybody killed. But it's like, Rachel did nothing different. And I just don't like Rachel, like, at all. This character, to me, has, like, no qualities that I enjoy out of, like, a female lead. Like, she's just kind of a bitch.
No, and Rachel made the dumbest decision. When Rachel left Bruce's penthouse to go help Harvey and end up getting captured, that's where she messed up. Because if she just stayed in Batman's penthouse, if she just stayed there, she wouldn't have get captured. Worst case scenario, Harvey then gets captured, and his face gets blown off. But remember, he was doing all this.
Would have had Rachel.
Yeah, he was doing all this craziness for Rachel. So the fact that Rachel left, and you know, it would have been better if like it was in a sense like, because remember in the comics, Two-Face had a wife, and I think in one of the iterations, Two-Face had a wife that he loved so much. And because his face was burned off, he couldn't control the split personality anymore. So that would be fine if in the Dark Knight that happened and Rachel was still alive. But no, Rachel fucking got herself killed off like a dumbass. And now we gotta watch this and watch Batman cover for Rachel's crimes. Like, I love how everyone sucks this movie off like it's untouchable. It's the Godfather of superhero movies. But they forget to address this big-ass plot hole where it's like, yeah, but if Rachel just stayed in the penthouse, Batman wouldn't have had to have that end where, you know.
That's not a plot hole. That's just stupid writing for a character that should not be.
Yeah, exactly. It's stupid writing. It's horrible writing. And people who say that The Dark Knight is like the best of all time really need to fucking check themselves again. It's the same thing with Spider-Man 2, although The Dark Knight is miles better than Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't really like Bruce Wayne in this movie, like, at all.
Nah, he's horrible. He's horrible. Rachel's horrible. Gordon
is like, okay, he's good as Batman. The new suit, the new suit makes much more sense for what he's trying to do. Looks wise, like I said, it's very armor. It makes 100% more sense. There's still something I like better about the other one, but I don't have a I mean, shoot, Batflex and BVS is still my favorite suit. Right. But it's like, I mean, this one's cool. I just don't like him as Bruce in this movie. I think he's just kind of a jackass. Like that whole thing with him and Rachel. Like, come on, man, it's literally Spider-Man 2 shit again. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
Spider-Man 2 again.
When can you and I be together as she's dating somebody else? What kind of horrible question is that, dude? You let her get away. Now you're crying for her back. It's like, come on. And like that, oh, I'll be with you when you're no longer Batman. It's like, and then he's like, he actually like took it to heart and was like, oh, if I quit being Batman, it's like, no, dumbass. She meant it in that way, like, you're never going to be with me because you chose to be Batman. You're always going to be Batman. It was almost like a rhetorical reason.
Yeah.
And who says that to somebody? Hey, I'm available now. Dump the person you're with.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Yeah, I don't like, I really don't like Bruce himself in this movie. And
yeah, he's horrible. He's a horrible person.
I don't really care, but oh, she said we were going to be together, Alfred. Oh, you know what? If I was Alfred, I would have done the exact same thing. I would have burned the letter. My mood. If I was like really irritated with him, I probably would have given him the letter and been like, "Yeah, no, you weren't."
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty good way to analyze it. This is a pretty good way to analyze the Dark Knight. Chad, thank you. Everything with the villains is perfect top tier writing. Everything with the hero is horrible.
And then what do we got next?
And then it becomes worse in the third movie. The Dark Knight is a horrible final act, which is weird. You know why? Because I watched this the first time in theaters. This is the first movie I watched of any of the trilogy. And I loved it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I loved it. And then after rewatch this, I was like, this is fucking horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I think I made a post in like just before COVID that I said The Dark Knight Rises is better than Batman Begins. And then
what?
You told me we were already friends. Like, watch it again. It's horrible. So I did. During quarantine, I watched it again, and I was like, "Yeah, Chad's right. This is a fucking terrible movie." And
I remember seeing this movie. I remember seeing this in theaters. I went with my girlfriend at the time and a bunch of our friends, and the movie finished, and I just like remember I was just like sitting there. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" I was like, "That was our big finale." And we like got up and left, and everyone in the group I was with were leaving. They're like, "Oh my God, that was amazing. Oh my God, incredible. Best movie ever." And they're like, "Chad, what did you think?" I was like, "It was shit." I was like, "What do you mean that was one of the best? That was awful."
Yeah, I'm sorry, DC fans. Marvel won that year with Amazing Spider-Man and the Avengers.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it came out the same year.
Yeah, that's right.
It came out the same year as Amazing Spider-Man and the Avengers, and everyone was saying like, I remember those diehard DC fans in like the comment section like, The Dark Knight Rises was the best comic book movie of that year. I was like, no, it's not. I'm sorry.
Didn't Watchmen
come Avengers was cheesy. The Dark Knight Rises was real for real people. I was like, no, I'm sorry. The Avengers, like, I'm sure Chad's a DC fan and he'll agree. The Avengers would like kick The Dark Knight Rises ass that year. I'm sorry.
Easily. What was all the movies that came out that year? Shoot, I had a list of them. I'll try to find it.
2012 was a great year for movies, not just for comic book movies, but for movies in general. It's like 2012 was Django Unchained, Silver Linings Playbook, Amazing Spider-Man, The Avengers, Perks of Being a Wallflower. Yeah, all of that, and there's Dark Knight Rises, and it's horrible.
Let's see. There was Chronicle came out that year too. Chronicle was way better than Rises. Chronicle is underrated. A
lot of films were better than The Dark Knight Rises. And I love and Jeremy John's my favorite reviewer, but he was dumb for putting The Dark Knight Rises over as number one for that year.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Yeah. Avengers was way better than The Dark Knight Rises.
And why is that? What is it about this film that's bad?
Because Batman's a terrible person in this movie. He basically gives up his life because Rachel died. Oh, boo fucking boo.
She didn't love you, dude. Get over it. Like, okay, here's the thing. Because I've seen people make the excuse, okay, like, he was having a rough time with it. I get it. But these are also the people who are like, this is the best version of Batman. Batman doesn't give up, though.
Yeah, he had a rough time with it. Fine. He had a rough time with it. But if you look at other previous Batman iterations, Mask of the Phantasm, Andrea left Batman. Andrea
Didn't give up then.
Andrea really loved Batman way more than Rachel did in these movies. And at the very end of the movie, we see Batman swinging away on his grappling hook, still being Batman.
He didn't give up after Andrea abandoned him right after he proposed to her either.
Exactly.
I don't get it because I never in Begins or Dark Knight did they explicitly show us that he was like head over heels in love with Rachel. In Begins, they just seemed like childhood friends hanging out, and then suddenly he's in love with her in Dark Knight when she's clearly with somebody else. And I know there's people who like, oh, it wasn't completely obvious she and Harvey Dent were dating. Yeah, it was pretty obvious. She did not do a good job of hiding it. It was pretty obvious.
Yeah,
and it's like, say there, oh, we were going to be together. Oh my God. This was just, overall, I think the story for this film is just bad.
No, the story, no, we're not even gonna get into the story yet. Let's talk about Batman himself. Batman's horrible. And Alfred is right for calling him out and saying that, yeah, you hung up the cape and cowl, but you never tried to find a light, try and find something after Rachel's death. You're just sitting here crying, moaning, and bitching about it. Like, yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Props to you, Alfred, for calling him out.
He allowed his own company to, like, basically go bankrupt to the point where he basically had to sell it off.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. Bruce Wayne would never do that.
No, this is literally Bruce Wayne at his worst.
And honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but
you're about to say what I was thinking. I know what you're about to say.
Yeah, George Clooney
was better than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, George Clooney from Batman and Robin was a better Bruce Wayne than Dark Knight Rises. Mr. High Freeze, I am Batman. There are things about me in this life you don't need to know. It's still better than, oh, Rachel, I'm so sorry, I couldn't save you. Oh, boo, I'll cry for 8 years. You know, like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And this movie just doesn't make, I don't even know what they were going for with this movie either. Like, physically, Bane was strong. He sounded horrendous, and that mask was dumb as hell.
Credit was due. I actually like Tom Hardy as Bane, but yes, the voice was horrible.
Why would they go with, like, what in the world did they actually think people's reactions were going to be to that? He doesn't sound threatening at all. He sounds like a Muppet on helium. He doesn't sound threatening in the slightest. And I'm sorry, I don't understand the mask. I really don't.
Me also. Like, the mask hides the pain at Bane. Like, okay, yeah, so fucking what? And they're like,
and then let's see, we take Bane, our big badass villain, and man, this is probably where what's-his-face, Rian Johnson, got his idea of subverting expectations from. Because out of the blue, Bane suddenly becomes the side bitch. And he gets killed like a bitch, too. He gets shot by Catwoman. It's like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's the big muscle? He got shot by Catwoman.
Oh.
After being degraded to side villain by Talia al Ghul.
Oh, Talia al Ghul was horrible.
Bad.
He was horrible.
I've come to finish my father's work, so I'm going to detonate a nuclear bomb in the city.
And I will still say it.
What a cliche James Bond. What like a James Bond villain they really went with.
And I will say this also. I will say this right now. Talia al Ghul, the best iteration of her was in Arkham City.
Yep.
Yeah, because she was sexy there. She was hot. She was totally like Bruce. And honestly, if I was Batman there, I would have killed Rachel Gunn. Like, yeah, Talia, I'll take up the mantle of the demon. Let's bang. Let's be together forever. Like, yeah, dude, I would have done that too. She was hot in Arkham City. She was really hot. And I'm saying
here she was just bland, and
she was horrible, and which is weird. You know why? Because I actually like Marion Cotillard in other films, but here it's like, I'm sorry, Marion Cotillard, you're horribly miscast as Talia al Ghul.
It didn't even make sense for her to.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, okay, it almost feels like, okay, so the first movie was Ra's al Ghul and Joker. Now back to Ra's al Ghul's campaign again. It's like, oh, okay. Like, all right, why did this suddenly become like the Ra's al Ghul trilogy?
Yeah.
And it just everything with that whole. I hated everything to do with that whole because it didn't make any sense in the slightest.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you don't work out for 8 years and you have no cartilage in your knee and you need a cane to walk,
you can just put on a magic knee brace and be like, yeah, it's gonna be fine.
I'm back to top tier fighting. I'm 8 years older. Then get your back broken and fix it with a rope and jump out of a hole that nobody else except for a 5-year-old did?
This is so horrible.
So stupid. How do people accept that and say, oh,
yeah, guys, right?
The only people I ever see who accept it, they use the most cliche line of possible. He did it because he's Batman. Shut up.
The fuck up. This movie's
that doesn't mean anything. It makes no sense whatsoever. If your back gets broken the way he had it, a rope ain't gonna fix it.
Yeah, a rope's not gonna fix that. And I guess let's talk about the only positive in this movie, Catwoman. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, she was great for what she did, and yeah. I
liked her outfit, and obviously I think Zoe Kravitz is gonna be better. But,
yeah,
I mean, Catwoman in this was she was better than I was expecting. I was expecting her to be the worst part of the film, but she's like the best part of it. And we got to see Juno Temple. Don't forget.
That sucks that sucks balls because like imagine like going in like Catwoman's gonna be the worst part, but then like
come on and
then like oh she was the best part. Like how sucky would that be? Like oh she was the best part of this movie. I was like,
you know, we honestly probably should have had somebody on who loves this film because so we could have like had a better discussion why, because I can't think of any. Okay, the music was amazing, sure, but that doesn't matter because that's like saying, oh, the music in Star Wars is great. It's like, well, yeah, that goes without saying. It always is. So it's like, Hans Zimmer, of course it was good.
The music of Last Jedi was awesome. Doesn't make Last Jedi good.
Doesn't help. So it's like, I don't know. I just think the story overall the story was just dumb. Like we go from Ra's al Ghul, we tried economics once to destroy the city and your parents stopped it. So now we're back and we're going to induce fear and let the city destroy itself. Then it's the Joker. I'm going to create chaos and anarchy and I'm going to take good men and I'm going to break them down and turn them and I'm going to completely flip them. Then we get, I'm just going to blow up the city.
Wow,
that's your big finale. I'm just going to blow everything up. I don't get it.
Yeah, so overall, the Dark Knight trilogy, 2 good movies, 1 bad one. Not bad, 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I don't.
Anything else to say or no?
I don't hate this film. Like, this is one where if somebody was like, let's sit down and watch it and like have a discussion with it. Like if somebody was like, oh, let's like do like a watch together or something and discuss it, I would do it. But it's just, I genuinely like never watched this movie because
I never actually want to watch it in full again because number 1, it's too long. Number 2, it's horrible. And it's weird because I watched it the first time, like when I was in theaters. The first time I watched it twice in theaters because I really liked it. And now I'm like, and I told you.
We forgot about the second best character of the film.
Who?
Robin.
Oh my God, that's right. We were talking shit.
Everything with him was so. He's the only one who figured out Bruce Wayne was Batman.
No, but honestly,
okay. What Joseph Gordon-Levitt is an awesome actor. He was a trash character as John Blake.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, like honestly, with and I'll be real with you, Chad. This is where we kind of disagree. Because I think with everything shitty in this movie, I think Robin and Catwoman were the only saving graces.
See, I didn't find anything special.
Yeah, I know. Because he's just meh. But honestly, in a movie filled with like shit characters, shit story, shit villains, having a meh secondary protagonist with a meh Catwoman, or at least a decent Catwoman, I'll take what I can get, you know?
I just thought it was
the jewels in the stain of this movie. It's like, it's really horrible.
I just thought it was cringe, that part at the end where he's like talking to that lady and he's like, oh, John Blake. And she's like, oh, that's not your legal name. What is it? He's like, Robin. I'm like, oh, fuck off. Oh, and that ending. Okay, we got to talk the end. Okay, I hate the ending of this movie. I hate both endings of this movie. The whole Batman blowing up and then they're like, oh, he didn't die. What? That made no sense. I hate that ambiguity that Nolan left in there. Okay, Batman's dead. And then let's just say he didn't. He runs off with Catwoman and that whole, oh, Master Wayne, I always hoped you'd run off and I'd see you at a little cafe in Sicily or some shit. And he's sitting there with Catwoman. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Are you like, what the fuck?
That was stupid.
No,
I just
sorry.
imagine Alfred was like,
I can't believe I'm
saying, and he imagined it because Batman.
No, I can't believe I'm saying this, honestly, Chad. With the amount of dumb decisions you did, Bruce Wayne, in this one movie alone, you don't deserve peace. I'm sorry. You don't deserve peace. You don't get to sit. You don't get to sit at your little cafe in Italy and bang Anne Hathaway. I'm sorry.
No.
You don't. I'm sorry, because Anne Hathaway is
the same guy who was just crying about Rachel at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
still.
And now you're banging Catwoman. So really, like, how much did you actually love her, Bruce Wayne? How much?
Didn't love her that much. Yeah, that was bad. That ending was so lame. I thought it was pointless. Like, what were we supposed to actually take away from that? Is what I still wondered.
I mean, like, shit. Even okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, even in Amazing Spider-Man 2, you know, the movie where a lot of people like hate, like it's the worst Spider-Man movie ever. Like, even Amazing Spider-Man 2 got the hero coming back from tragedy way more better, and Peter and Gwen actually deserve to be together, not like Rachel and Bruce in these movies. Like when Gwen Stacy died, yeah, Peter cried about it, but Peter was still able to put on the mask and be Spider-Man after a few weeks of mourning.
He realized he still had a responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. He knew he had to get back out there.
Yeah. Peter was still able to get back up and still crack jokes like, on behalf of all the rhinos, blah, blah, blah. Like, so, Bruce Wayne from the Dark Knight trilogy, are you, like, what the fuck are you? Are you just, like, simping for Rachel at this point? Like, come on.
He simped for her so hard that, like you said, he gave up and started banging Catwoman.
What a trash end to this trilogy, honestly.
Like I said earlier, I'll never forget seeing this in theaters, being like, this was terrible. And I've only watched it all the way through twice since theaters, and I hated it both times. It's bad. I don't understand. Like I said, we should have had somebody on who loves it, so we could have just had a better back and forth, so they could have pointed out what was good, so we could have just said why they're wrong. But you know what? Like I said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
If I had to rank these 3, it's literally in release order. Batman Begins is my favorite, Dark Knight's right after, and then this is at the bottom.
Wow. Can't blame me, Chad. Can't blame me. All right, so that is the end of the critically acclaimed Dark Knight trilogy. I'm sorry it didn't meet the expectations, but then again, these are the same people who don't like Spider-Man 2, so I guess we were kind of expecting it, weren't you?
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we're going to be talking about a very controversial story arc for Batman in the duology of Snyder. BVS and Zack Snyder's Justice League. So next week, we'll talk about that. So I'm Santino signing off.
I'm Chad. Adios.